One of my favorite moments of the last week was when former Mexican President Vicente Fox took another jab at his sparring partner, Donald Trump. Donald Trump's popularity numbers came out recently, and his approval rating is the lowest by far of any president at this point in his presidency. 37% approve. You know how many Americans in another recent poll approved of Bernie Sanders? 61%. So 37%. And Vicente Fox said, tweeted to our tweeter in chief, if this were TV, you'd be fired. America, tell it like it is. Donald, you're fired. Now, that was a great dig. But as I said in the beginning of this show, let's not normalize these other Republicans either. We got to fire all of these guys. And let me give you a couple examples of what I mean. Just a couple random stories out there. Let's talk about Newt Gingrich, okay? Because Newt Gingrich has been part of the Republican Party, part of the leadership of the Republican Party for almost 25 years. Newt Gingrich became Speaker of the House as a Republican in 1994. He wrote the contract the contract for America, or with America, on America. Gingrich said, here's something that Gingrich said today. You know, we talk about Trump and white nationalism. We talk about Steve Bannon and white nationalism. Here's something that Newt Gingrich said recently. He said, he was on Sean Hannity's show. I've been on Hannity's show. He's a sweetheart. Let me tell you. Hannity asked, is this talking about terror? And, you know, of course, they use terror to inflame racial and ethnic and religious hatreds. Hannity asked, I think this is really a moment that America really needs to pause and ask itself, are we going to follow the same path they have followed, meaning Europe, integrating Muslims and refugees and so on, and foreigners into their countries? And are we prepared for the consequences they have had in Europe, meaning, you know, blowing up a few incidents into a massive war? Then he said, we've had enough terror going on here. You know, we have our own problems already. Do we really want to invite other problems in without a proper vetting system? Now, let's leave aside the fact that we've had an incredibly rigorous vetting system for years, in terms of people coming into this country, even as refugees under dire circumstances of dire need, and leaving aside the fact that immigrants are far less of a threat to public safety, far less likely to commit a crime than native-born Americans. Sean Hannity is a paid bloviator, liar, and hate monger, so we expect that from him. Leader of the Republican Party, not a new leader, not a Trump leader, not a recent leader, 25-year leader of the Republican Party, Newt Gingrich, comes back and says, I think that's part of it. And when the other part is when people come here, we need to go back to teaching people how to be American, to assimilating them into American civilization. I think we have to defeat the left-wing mythology that says you can be multicultural and still be a single country. In other words, you can only come into this country, says this long-term leader of the Republican Party, if you follow the white European model laid down and admired by white nationalists like David Duke and Steve Bannon. That is not the America we believe in. We are multicultural. We will always be multicultural. We can either respect that diversity or preach a philosophy of hate like Donald Trump and the entire, or too much of the Republican Party already does.